Welcome back to Birding with Kaliopi. When I arrived at my usual birding spot this morning, I noticed a bird perched on the right side of this dead tree. It was only after it flew off that I realized there was a second bird right there the whole time. It turned out the bird clinging to the trunk was a hairy woodpecker, the larger of the two. The smaller one was a downy woodpecker, and both of them were young males born this year. I'll show you how I could tell a bit later in the video. Now, I continued watching the hairy woodpecker when, surprise, the downy appeared around the corner. It seemed to me that the young downy was curious about what the young hairy woodpecker was doing, and things got really interesting when he decided to fly down to investigate. This must have upset a young Baltimore Oriole because it quickly chased it away, while a second downy woodpecker, a female, started sidling up on the left side. I kept zooming in and out, unsure of what to focus on. It was all happening so fast. I finally realized the focus was now who's going to perch at the top of the tree trunk. Basically, more chases and bedlam ensued, followed by a short period of quiet where all three species shared the tree amicably. Now, at one point, the woodpeckers shifted out of view and the young oriole hopped over to the trunk. It looked curious, pecking at what might have been mold or fungus, as if asking itself, is this edible? Should I investigate further? Do I even want to investigate further? And if you've been wondering what the juvenile orioles look like these days, here's a good example. They're growing into their tails and wings, and their plumage is developing too. They aren't the rich orange of an adult male, but there's a hint of orange blending in, and they look more like the females. Watching all these goings-on felt like seeing kids at a playground. Think about it, 3 young birds, all born within the last few weeks, all exploring and learning alongside each other. To me, this tree felt like their jungle gym. Let's get back to how I could tell that the 2 birds initially were fledgling males. So you see the little patch of red on the top of their heads? For the first few months after fledging, young male downy and hairy woodpeckers don't have the adult's red patch at the back of the head. Instead, they have these red-tipped crown feathers. By fall, those will molt out and they'll grow in their adult plumage. So this is a pretty neat ID marker you only get to see for a short window each year. It's also an ID marker I don't really find in bird identification books or apps. It's something I figured out on my own by seeing them every year, but I'm curious to hear if you guys have noticed this. Again, let me know in the comments below. Unfortunately, for female fledglings, there isn't a plumage clue like this. They just look like adult females, and that's why the second downy woodpecker that flew in that was female, I can't tell if it's a young bird or an adult bird. Dead trees like this one are some of the best places to observe birds. They're like an air traffic control tower, giving birds a vantage point to watch their surroundings, rest, preen, forage, and interact. And that's why if you have a dead tree on your property that isn't posing a hazard, consider leaving it standing. It will become an entire ecosystem of its own. So I hope you enjoyed this little window into the lives of these young birds, these fleeting weeks when fledglings are discovering their world before dispersing teach me so much about curiosity, learning, and resilience. This is Birding with Kaliopi, where a dead tree becomes a living classroom. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to like and subscribe for more Birding with Kaliopi videos. See you in the next one.